Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and today we are continuing on with my series of updating you on how my Tarot and Oracle deck collection looks at this midway point of 2022 and seeing if we can't declutter a little bit on the way. So far, 2 videos have been uploaded at this point that you're seeing this one. Those are up above in the cards. You can check them out there. Today, we're going to be talking about my super nature-y decks. The ones that just scream nature. And these are both tarot and oracle, mostly oracle, in fact. So let's start with my one tarot deck. The Brady Tarot. Oh, I got this. My spouse gave it to me, my wife. And it is phenomenal. And I love it. And honestly, I think it's, I'm afraid to say it, but I think it's my perfect animal tarot deck. So I've got this one. This is my only tarot deck that is of this category. It's funny, I never, besides buying this for my wife, initially, I never bought it. Like, I've never bought Oak, Ash, and Thorn. I keep stopping myself from buying animal decks, and I think that's because I don't know much about, like, animal symbolism, and B, on some level, I feel like I really wanted this deck for myself, but I kept thinking it was for my wife. Therefore not for me. This deck is, why are you upside down? This deck is just phenomenal. Look at this 10 of Swords. I'm not getting rid of this. It's such a good deck. And Lisa has it quite right when she calls it her National Geographic deck. That is what this is. This is a very nature-y deck, and I'm still learning ways I would use it, but I'm very, very, very glad I have it, and I don't really know what else to say about it besides it being awesome, and that I'm not getting rid of it. You can't make me. So I do have that nature-y deck. And I don't have any other tarot decks currently in my collection that fit this category of super nature-y decks. I do have coming the Gentle Tarot in a Tin. I think I would put that in this category. Having never worked with it, it's hard to tell. So sight unseen, the Gentle Tarot would go in this category of very nature-y, because that's what it is. It feels to me very nature spirituality, very pagan-y. But I don't have it. I haven't worked with it. I know it has a very gentle self-care vibe, according to lots of folks who have worked with it. I'm just not sure how it will read for me. It feels different enough that I'm comfortable having both. I'm comfortable having both the Brady Tarot and the Gentle Tarot. And I think unless I see like a very specific specialty nature deck that just sweeps me off my feet, I think that's going to be it for this category for tarot decks. The problem I have is the Oracle. Oh, I get sucked in with the nature-y Oracle. And the first one I have is my illustrated, I believe this is my Herbiary. I believe this is the herbs. Yep. My illustrated Herbiary. This deck and the book that goes with it is so beautiful. It is such a treasure. I need to get the crystallary one day, and I want I want to find a way to work with this. I'm still figuring how, but I really want to work with this deck. Like I'm not at all willing to let it go. Like, that's one of the things I want to look at with these videos. For the decks I haven't found fluff. For the decks I haven't figured out how I would work with them. The question is, am I still motivated to work with them? If I was given the choice, would I repurchase this? And yes, 100,000,000%, I would repurchase that. I would repurchase this. I want to work with this. Maybe I'll use this with my moon readings. I'm trying to revamp my new moon, full moon, moon return readings, and because they're just feeling a little lackluster to me. So maybe I'll use these with that. Because that could be kind of a cool way to further my study. So I have that. It's not going anywhere. I would repurchase it if I had to. Same with the bestiary. Now, this one gets a little trickier. Not this deck specifically, but I have quite a few animal oracles, actually. This one is so phenomenal, and I recognize almost all of the animals, and I've had some fantastic readings with these, and it's like from others. This, and again, the book in these is just such a treasure. And the thing is, oh, the elephants. Oh, I love the elephants. I'm not willing to say yet that these decks aren't for me, because I feel like I haven't found a thing to work with them to be able to fully tell me if they are for me. Plus, there's lots of snakes. They have a human card. They're just such stunning things. There's a lot in my collections that is like, how much am I struggling because I don't have an established spiritual practice? How much is this because like Lisa's been doing this a lot longer than I have. She's spent years working on and cultivating what her tarot and oracle practice is. She knows this stuff. I haven't spent as much time on this. I've spent a lot of time learning about tarot and oracle, but I haven't spent a lot of time. I'm still building my practice. I'm still finding the ways of building my consistency. And so I wonder how much of my difficulty with decks will change once I've built the consistency for my personal practice. Now, the thing with this too is, here's an herb one, here's an animal one. Right? I've got herbs, I've got urban animals here, and here in this gorgeous bag is my seed and sickle. My seed and sickle oracle is an herb oracle. And it's a stunning one. It is so good. And the book is so good. I worked with this with my Witch's Wisdom when I was doing Dawn Michelle's monthly medicine as one of her members. And the readings I got with this are phenomenal. I am not willing to let this one go. I haven't used it in a while, but it's another big problem I have, aside from not having an established practice, is I never give myself enough time and space to settle to find that practice, and I'm constantly bringing in new stuff. So, and that's what I'm working on with the depth years, trying to not bring in new stuff so I can get to know these beautiful things I have to see to see how I would use them to determine, are they actually for me? This one, and one of the other problems is, as it turns out, I really like putting tarot and oracle together in specific ways. And for most of it, my brain goes, here's this tarot, here's this oracle, they go together. They are the match. And the tarot deck that is the match to this in my head is the Pacific Northwest Tarot, which I don't have. I really want it, even though it is an animal deck, and I don't know if I would use it. It's so fucking stunningly gorgeous. And that seems to be when I figure things out. Most of the time I figure out ways to use my decks once I have gotten the pairing. Like, I got the deciding factor for buying my Starseeker Tarot was once I realized I could pair it with my Heavenly Bodies astrology deck. So, but I wonder how much I'm going to use having two herb decks. I don't know. I'm not willing to get rid of any of these yet. Any of these three yet. Whoops. I'm not willing to get rid of them yet, but so I wonder. But that's the Seed and Sickle. I would repurchase it. Okay. The last deck is technically two decks, and this one's hard. This is Animal Allies 1 and 2. Boy. This one I don't know about. I love it. It's really nice cardstock. It's smooth and like buttery but not slippy. They don't stick. Like, they don't clump. The messages are really nice little messages in here. They're fabulous. My problem is I've had this over a year and I've barely used it. I've used it before as like a monthly guide. And I guess I could do that. I'm nervous. I'm nervous to add too much. This is 120 cards, 120 different animal cards, which to me is astonishing. And it was not very expensive to get this. And they're independently published. It's not like mass market. It's just really well done. I love the variety. There's lots of different birds. I've taken this and pulled out all the birds and done a bird reading for a client. I've taken out all the sea creatures and done with that. There's lots of ways I could use this. I'm just currently not using it. And I'm just not sure how I want to use it. I could do, like, I could pull one for the month and have it that way, but I don't know. I feel like maybe I have too much for the month. Because I do my Heavenly Bodies and Starseeker for the month, and I love doing that. The other problem I have with my collection is once in my head a deck belongs to one thing, I kind of can sometimes start to miss it. Like I get too stuck in that, and that I won't reach for it for other times as much. But that's something I want to work through. I'm thinking as I'm looking at this, I'm trying to think of ways to work with it. And I think I would like to work with it on a monthly basis. But I'm thinking maybe more aligned with the moon or more aligned with the sun. But just hold on one second. I have to look at something. Sorry, I just realized that these backings are like a perfect match with the Tarot Fauna, which is funny and interesting because that's what I bought this bag for, was the Tarot Fauna, and then I decided not to get the Tarot Fauna, and then I went looking for something to go in this bag, and I picked this, and I think I'm going to be adding the Tarot Fauna back to my wish list, not for an immediate purchase, because there's just something about when I get tarot decks and oracle decks that go together, I work with them much more deeply, and it just broadens things for me. I don't know how to explain it. It just makes me, it allows me to find the purpose of those decks for me. In the meantime, I'm not going to get rid of this. What I think I'm going to do is I'm thinking of going very grounding and earthy with my moon practice, and maybe drawing an animal card for the moon along with a couple other things. I've got some almost ideas. But I'm not ready to give up on this, especially now that I know I could get the Tarot Fauna one day and put those together, and I think they would go so beautifully, and I think it would really expand that for me. Now the thing is, that was the last of my nature-y decks, but I have to look at this with this. This I had originally in my category of my kind of unsure decks. I have, the last video we'll be seeing is decks that I'm not really sure what category to place them in. And I have all my wild unknown ones in there. The thing is, this is an animal deck. And that's an animal deck. So oh God, but the elephant. No, okay. Here's the thing. Here's what I'm just really, really realizing. And I think I need to accept how I use decks. And the way I use decks is I get a little family of decks, which this makes sense. When I was a little kid, I used to put everything into families. My mom would tell me that I would make my utensils into families, and I put my fucking food into families. I put things into little families, and it's like, together this family does this. And the same thing happens with decks. When I get a deck family, then I start to learn how I want to work with that deck family. Right? And oh, I just had an idea with the wild unknown. We'll circle back to that. But I think, so this I'm going to put back in that category, and we'll talk about that. But I think what I need to just do is I need to accept that I'm a person who, the things that are open-ended, my workhorse decks that I can use for multiple different things, have to be super limited. Because most things, if it's like I can use this for this or that or this, then I don't tend to use them at all. My brain needs some categorization in how I use things. So I think I just need to accept the fact that by pairing things together, I am better able to use them. Like how my Starseeker and my Heavenly Bodies is a classic example. So I think I'm just kind of realizing that I need to keep my workhorse category very small, like I talked about in that video. The videos are up above in the cards. And then my other categories, I need to look at them as like my tarot families, because that's how I look at them in my brain. So like my Seed and Sickle Oracle, I'm not finding a way to use it because it doesn't have its family member yet. Same with this. So, and that makes sense. It does mean I'm going to have to get creative in the meantime, and I just have to choose to either, like this, it's deciding, do I care about this enough to get and try the Tarot Fauna and create the family so that way I can see if I can work with them. And it also means that I think what I'm going to start doing once I've dealt with my collection is I think I'm going to start looking at deck purchases in families. So instead of just buying one deck, I'll wait until I can purchase the family. You know, and I think that might be a better way to do that. Anyways, that was the last deck. So this section has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in it so far. There is one incoming with the Gentle Tarot. And yeah, so that is it for this section. Let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this. What are your thoughts? Can you just acquire decks and mix and match your pairs if you pair tarot and oracle? Do you always pair the same tarot with the same oracle? Do you just work with tarot and oracle separately? I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. And while you're down there, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to let me know if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification. We are going to be coming up next. Our next part, I think I'm going to do my astrology decks, and we've got a couple more categories that are going to be coming out to you. I'm going to be rolling them out through time. And don't forget to check the description box because I do offer readings and consultations, including astrology consultations where I teach you your chart. So it's not built in like me just talking to you about your chart. It's more instructional in giving you the tools so you can work with your astrology. So let me know. Check that out. And check that out. And I look forward to hearing from you in the comments down below. Lots of love, and I'll see you soon. Bye!